Feels like something's missing here, but I'm not sure what. Oh wait, I know. Mountains. I was browsing YouTube and I came across this video here. It's a great video if you're interested in terrain generation, and I highly recommend that you give it a watch. But while I was watching it, I kept asking myself the same question over and over again. How difficult would it be for me to implement this myself? After thinking for a bit, I figured that it's probably not that difficult. I opened a new Python file, and I was well on my way to generating my own mountains. So let's back up for a second. The key idea behind this implementation is something called diffusion limited aggregation, or DLA for short. But wait, what's this? Another terrain generation method? No, it's today's sponsor. Brilliant. Brilliant is an online learning platform that helps you get smarter every single day. With multiple courses across science and math, each lesson is filled with hands-on problem solving that lets you play with the concepts, a method which has been proven to be 6 times more effective than watching lecture videos. I've been using Brilliant to brush up on my math again, and their first principles approach really helps you understand things from the ground up. It's the perfect mix of engaging problems, competitive features, and daily encouragement that keeps you motivated and on track. Plus, all of the content has been designed by award-winning teams, and it really shows. Another amazing feature about Brilliant is their mobile app. It's awesome, and no matter where I am, I can always learn something new. If you want to try everything that Brilliant has to offer for free, then head over to brilliant.org/Philip, or scan the QR code on screen. Or you can go and click the link in the description below. You will also get 20% off of an annual premium subscription. Thank you again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to generating some mountains. So what is DLA and how does it work? Effectively, DLA is a method that allows us to generate random patterns that look somewhat organic. Pictures like this have probably been generated using something like DLA. So, before we move on, let's take a quick look at how the DLA algorithm actually works. We start off by taking a completely empty grid. You can think of this as an image with all its pixels set to a value of 0. Then what we do is we place one single pixel into the center of the image and we set its value to 1. Once we have set the central pixel, all we do is we pick a random position on the edge of the grid and we start moving randomly from there until we collide with a pixel that has a value of 1. Once the moving pixel has collided, we freeze it in place and we set its value to 1. And then we just repeat the same process as many times as we want. And that's already it. That's how DLA works. If we end up plotting that 2D array in 3 dimensions, we could get something that looks like this, which doesn't actually look that bad. But here's the thing, we've been using really small grids so far, which means that the detail that DLA produces is somewhat limited. This shows particularly well in this example here. Those jagged peaks that you see are a result of not having any sort of smoothing. The way that I was doing pixel weighting didn't work properly either, which is why everything is more or less the same height. After fixing the blurring, this is what I got. Now, you'll notice that it's really evident where the graphs were overlaid, because that's where the highest peaks are. You'll also notice that the sides are incredibly steep, which really doesn't look that nice. To add to the ugliness, the top of the mountain looks like a helicopter landing pad, which really wasn't what I was going for. After playing around with weighting the pixels, this is what I ended up with. Now again, the mountains are way too steep, and they really don't look that nice, but at least they won't be confused with an airport if you look at them, because the tops are actually rounded instead of just flat. At this point, I decided to change up my weighting technique again, and to rerun the simulation on a much larger graph and for a lot longer, and this is what I ended up with. Now it looks like a lot of noise, but it's a lot better than what I had previously, because at least the terrain doesn't look flat or just uniform. So I also decided to play around with the scaling technique to see what I could do. Initially I was using bilinear interpolation, but I wanted to see what happened when I used nearest neighbor, and this was the result, and I think that actually looks pretty cool. But ultimately I stuck with bilinear interpolation. One thing that I tried here was to not scale the crisp grid, the idea being that not scaling it would allow more fine details to be present in the graph. But ultimately that didn't end up working, and well, this is what I got. Because the crisp grid isn't being scaled, we are essentially overlaying slices of the same thing continuously, which is why we end up with something that looks like this and has this almost uniform height. There was also a bug in my code where one of my functions was actually returning columns and rows instead of rows and columns. After I fixed that bug, this is what I ended up with. And let me tell you, I was really happy with how things were starting to look. After cleaning up my code and making a few small changes to the way that I clamped the height, I ended up with this. Now remember, all of this is randomized, so I decided to rerun the simulation a bunch of times to see if I could find any cool outputs. And I think I found some that looked really nice. Of course, this isn't perfect, and there are still some issues. For example, here you can see a case where DLA has accumulated a lot of particles on the edge of the grid. As a result, that side of the mountain looks as if it were some Play-Doh being pressed up against a piece of glass. The last thing that I ended up doing was to parallelize part of my implementation. The true bottleneck is DLA. Fusing things and computing some matrix multiplications really isn't that demanding. The problem with DLA is that it depends on its previous state. What I ended up doing is I ended up exploiting the fact that the middle pixel is always going to be 1. So what that means is that I can spawn a pretty big grid and I can divide it into 4 segments, where I have one process running on each segment. Because the middle pixel is always 1, what I can do is I can just include it in the corner of each segment. In other words, what I'm doing is I'm running DLA on 4 different grids at the same time, and once they're done, I just stitch them back together by the corners. This works because I'm intentionally guaranteeing that the middle pixel of my grid is always set to 1. So if that wasn't the case, then it's perfectly possible that one or more of these subgrids don't contain any pixels with a value of 1, which means that those instances of DLA would never complete and we'd get stuck. One thing to note is that the grid that I'm chunking does grow over time because we're consistently upscaling it. Now, it also becomes more populated, but it's still important to note that the parallelization doesn't fully scale. It's intended to boost the performance in a reasonable range of scaling. It's not intended to compensate for bad scaling factors that are unreasonably huge. For example, if you're scaling the grid by a factor of 4 and then you're chunking it, that's perfectly fine. But if you're scaling it by a factor of 1,000, well, at that point, it doesn't really matter that you have 4 threads or 4 processes running over these subgrids, because at the end of the day, it's going to take so long for DLA to complete that it really doesn't matter. So that's pretty much it. I wasn't trying to make a perfect implementation for this type of terrain generation. In fact, the only reason I was doing this was because I've never done it before and I just wanted to try something new. But now that I've done it once, it feels a lot more accessible, and I feel like terrain generation is something that I'd want to look into more in the future. I know there's a lot of different strategies out there, and I'm actually really curious to see how difficult it is to implement those as well, or to spin them in my own way. For the moment though, I'm pretty happy with where it stands. But who knows, maybe in a week I'll look at it and think, oh boy, that's bad, I've got to come up with something better. And well, if that's the case, you'll be the first to know about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, then feel free to leave a like. And if you have questions, why not plop a comment down below? And if you want to see more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.